Bosses suck, and everybody fucking agrees with that, I think, here.
Yep.
And here we're talking about union bosses. And again, this is our friends at the World Socialist website, and they do some good work. They do some fear-mongering work. They do some, they would call it some incredibly important work. And they have done a ton of work about, COVID lockdowns. And while we disagree with their stuff, we totally respect their position. But in this case, they're talking about the Burlington Northern Railway clampdown on workers' dissent. So they had an anti-strike injunction. So 17,000, I believe, conductors indicated that they were going to strike, and they were taken to court and they were stopped. And apparently the union management was part of it, actively seeking to prevent workers from speaking to the press in violation of their First Amendment right to free speech. Of course, because they want only the workers, the union representatives, to speak on behalf of the workers. Right, 17,000 workers voted nearly unanimously to authorize strike action. Okay, so new high-vis policy will significantly worsen the already long and unpredictable working schedule, which make it difficult for workers to spend time with their families or visit the doctor, while also laying groundwork for the experienced workers to be fired for missing just a few days of work. I mean, there aren't even that many people working railway jobs at this point. 17,000 people. I mean, that's nationwide. And people don't realize just how important trains are in moving goods and services around this country still. And the people who work for them are usually highly underpaid, and it's been kind of an invisible industry that makes the entire country grow and country go. And that's another place. If you saw a conductor strike like what you saw here, and that's why they went to court to shut it down, similar to a trucker strike, it would shut down the entire country quickly. And Shadow Ban Refugee did write an amazing article about the power that the courts have to do that in his labor article, for sure, on a 95-year-old bill. And I think I saw something about a 1926 law on the I think they did mention a 1926 law here on the Railway Labor Act. There you go. All right. So yeah, my man's got it. All right. Unions, no doubt, well aware of the galvanizing impact statements have had that workers have made in recent weeks. Of course, they say that everything their worker states about what's actually happening at their job is going to undermine the negotiations. Right. So CSX, Union Pacific, all these companies, by the way, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, are owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Most people don't even realize that Warren Buffett effectively owns the entire railways. All right.
Yeah.
After the ruling, management has also gone on the offensive. So workers reported they've sent threatening communications to them. This is standard. Again, this is what's happening at Amazon, and this is what's happening at Starbucks. I was actually reading something about what they're doing to Starbucks employees and to the shops that are talking about unionizing. They flood the place with managers that then the imbalance of managers to employees is overwrought. Everybody's getting overmanaged, and they end up splitting because it's just a pain. Last week's court ruling was not the result of a technicality of the definition of the word major, but a political decision aimed at blocking the resistance by working class to deteriorating working conditions.
Public interest is defined as a financial interest. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Right. So again, a lot of it is chest puffery, but and explaining exactly, why this is wrong and the morality of it, in addition to the facts of what's happening here. But the RLA, have applied for federal mediator to intervene in talks. But the same federal law which subjects workers to endless rounds of mediation before being allowed to strike doesn't place any restrictions on management. unilaterally posing new policies such as the high-vis policy at BNSF without even the pretense of negotiation. I mean, again, and what you're going to end up seeing is that the workers will have a contract put in front of them if they're lucky at all. Well, now they're not even going to be able to strike,
and it'll be right. Yep.
And it'll be take it or leave it.
It's like that silent filibuster, right? Where it's like, yeah, either get with it or get the fuck out.
Now, Berkshire Hathaway isn't owned by BlackRock. They're probably partnered with BlackRock in some ventures, but Berkshire Hathaway is a massive publicly traded company that was started by Warren Buffett that owns a huge conglomerate of companies, including real estate mortgage companies. They own car dealerships. They own like big dealership groups. I know they bought one of the largest dealership groups in the country, just like Lock, Stock, and Barrel. What's that?
The paragraph below it. Any militant union was quickly smashed in this industry long ago. One BNSF retiree told the WSWS, when the BLET brags about its long history, that was founded in 1863, that's really a self-indictment. It's been allowed to exist because it poses no threat to management and does not fight for workers. It's pretty much every union right now, right? You could just replace those. Like,
yeah. Here you go. UAW. Exactly. Here you go. Where the UAW got corporate stock in exchange for restructure.
Yeah. After they put Hoffa in that stadium underground, unions haven't been the same since.
Right, the AFT and Randy Weingartner spearheading the campaign to reopen schools during the pandemic, which is a controversial issue to say the least. But it's again toward the capitalistic system, get everybody back to work. And in this case,
that right. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, again, her motivation for doing so is not necessarily because the science says so, but because they need to get people back to work.
But it's also that union could have been doing any other fights. They choose to fight on this. Like, it's almost like identity politics stuff, where it's like, yeah, that's what you're choosing to fight on because you want to appear as opposition, when in turn doing nothing.
Again, these guys only really advocate for rank and file committees, which they seem to feel is the best way to negotiate and to deal with management. They're always willing to provide support to the 17,000 or to whatever group of workers wants to come together and do that. I commend WSWS for doing that.
Rank and file committees it is just more like, it makes things slower, in my opinion.
Well, somehow all the workers have to collectively have their voice heard, and if you're not going to do it with a union, how are you going to do it? I mean, you've got to have some method to do it. I'm sure there are other methods beyond rank and file committees and unions. All right, then you have like direct employee democracy type of stuff where everybody just votes on certain things. But honestly, it might be a co-op,
cooperative businesses, and
it might be a co-op the way that Richard Wolff talks about. There's a lot. There are corporate structures. I'm sure they can do that. I'm not really familiar with them.
Society has taken every organization that could work and just
smashed it and made